Dude.
Hey, people.
Hey. Okay, don't send me any more links. Don't send me any more links. Not a single link. Okay? This is Gothic too. People have been asking me to play this.
Seth here. Once upon a time, Germany committed an act of such contemptible evil that the world still remembers them for it, to the shame of a modern German nation and its people. They asked Piranha Bytes, popular German RPG developer, to make the same game for over 20 years. For nearly 2 decades, Piranha Bytes has been releasing Gothic 2 under different titles, and the German population is none the wiser. Oh, it loaded.
Wait,
this
what?
looks good. Press any button to continue.
This is not
What a
Gothic.
terribly coded game. ELEX is the latest copy of Gothic 2. The story takes place in the world of Magalan, a modernized planet much like ours, which got hit by a comet containing magic crystals called ELEX. Most people die off. The lucky ones who survive become mindless mutants tainted by ELEX, while the unlucky ones become Germans. The Germans split into 4 different factions. The Albs, who consume ELEX to become more and more autistic and thus more powerful. The Berserkers, who are like the German version of Amish people, and refuse to use ELEX technology, but use ELEX to turn into mana, which doesn't count. The Clerics, who are just religious fanatics, and the Outlaws, who are ANCAP as fuck, hate organized government, and hate roads even more. You play as Jax.
I hate roads too. We have so much in
He
common.
can jump higher than any white person ever recorded in history. For this reason, the other Albs get jealous of him and shoot down his plane. Then your manlet brother attempts to assassinate you, but can't aim very well because the gun is designed for adult fingers and not children. So you survive and fall down the cliff. When you wake up, the ELEX is gone from your system and you're forced to experience human emotions for the first time, such as anger at the clunky control scheme and confusion at the strange texture popping, delayed or absent.
Wait, is this a new
effects,
game?
and porn tier voice acting. Stranded
No.
among former enemies, Jax has to forge alliances and build trust with the other factions to find out why his allies tried to kill him and beat the final antagonist of his game, the combat system. While Jax can jump very high for a Caucasoid, helped even more so by his trusty jetpack, this won't save you from ELEX's atrocious combat. The system is fairly straightforward. Jax attacks through a relentless combination of quick and strong attacks to string combos together. So what could possibly go wrong? Everything. Piranha Bytes is a developer that's infamous for designing terrible combat, so don't be surprised. In fact, if you play by the rules set by the developer, you will die.
I never do.
Instead, you need to do what all sensible people do with Piranha Bytes RPGs. You abuse the system as much as possible. In Gothic 2, probably millions of people fell
That
for
is the Forsen
combat
build.
meme. They didn't know you could just spend a few hundred gold in the first town to buy a scroll to transform into a black raptor, and rampage through the entire first map, skipping virtually the first 10 levels of bullshit Piranha Bytes crams down your throat. You need to approach this game in the same way. The stamina bar is a great feature and adds a lot to the game. There's nothing more satisfying than watching a green bar deplete and replenish in the top left of my screen as I wait for my cerebral palsy-stricken character to accumulate enough energy for his paralyzed...
Is this Little Dark
to spring
Souls
into
or
motion.
what?
In fact, the stamina bar serves no purpose except to cause you suffering. This is because only humans have stamina. Monsters and wildlife follow no such system and can attack without restriction. Even
Little
better,
Fallout.
if you're hit while your stamina is recovering, it interrupts the recovery. This leads to a fun, innovative system built around stun-locking someone into a coma. The combat almost appears to be intentionally designed bad. You couldn't make it any worse unless you tried very hard. Maybe give a character tank controls instead. Oh, and give him a warning every time his stamina and health gets low. which will be every few seconds.
Your health is low. Do you have any potions or food?
None of this matters when you play the game the real way it's meant to be played. The way the developers didn't intend. You recruit Durus and suck him off so he aggroes all the monsters. Then, while he's holding their attention,
Lydia.
he's absolutely immune to damage, you just spam grenades and ranged attacks. Then you cheese through the entire game. And why would I not cheese through the entire game? Why would I not abuse the fact that attacks stunlock enemies by simply running through half of a fucking game map, reaching the cleric base, and buying a flamethrower? Because, fun fact, you need almost no stats to weld the best gun in the game, which can spit out fireballs that stunlock and knock over everything they hit in a wide radius, so you can safely kill anything in the game without them even having the chance to defend themselves. And why would I not abuse the fact that crafting recipes are broken, when I can go to a trader in the outlaw town and buy infinite amounts of electronic scrap and iron ore, convert these into mental energy reserves, which is magic ammunition used by the clerics, and upgrade these in a 1-to-1 ratio into higher tier copies of mental energy reserves that sell for threefold more than the cost of my base ingredients, leading me to have infinite amounts of money, or Deutschmarks as they're called in-game. Germans will likely defend and applaud the game. Germans with names like Jürgen, Hans, and Ahmed will state that there's nothing wrong with the game, and it's designed for real hardcore RPG players like themselves. Besides, it reminds them of real-life Germany, where walking outside in Berlin will result in your immediate stabbing. Thankfully for the Germans, you can't quick load in real life.
You never been to Berlin, fucking American, stop lying.
Highest grossing game titles are farming, forklift, and bus driving simulators lack the credibility to make any judgments on what's good. To the typical German gamer, Arbeit macht frei, and they cannot separate work from life.
He's Scandinavian, oh yeah?
Farming simulator are electronically linked.
Oh shit, he's Danish?
Driverless farms in Germany, tricking the average German male into supporting the Eurozone economy without pay. The grains produced from such
would never have guessed
operations
he's
are so
fucking
cheap
Danish.
and plentiful that the EU can afford to airlift them by the metric ton and drop them directly.
It definitely
on
has an American accent, I feel like.
villages,
Like,
instantly
not like
drowning
Kokona,
the
but you
native
know.
population in a river of wheat. World construction and level design is stellar, and probably the strongest feature of ELEX. Every crevice, nook, and cranny has been clearly handcrafted and stuffed with items
He is
and
American?
consumables for you to plunder, together with many dangers. The voice acting
I don't know,
can be patchy
dude.
at times with the English dub, but the quests are very well done and offer many solutions to tackle them. The decisions you make influence the opinions and actions of characters, companions, and factions throughout the world, and steer the course of the story toward one of the major groups and their ideology for how Magalan should be run. The companions you bring with you also have their own interactions with NPCs, and their presence alone can change the outcome of missions you're given. Just be aware their AI is garbage. Ray just stood still while I was getting mauled by a horde of animals, and doesn't even intervene in fights unless you've already won. Durus is less garbage because his AI is more aggressive, but is still prone to standing still like a tart, or switching from his melee weapon to his bow in melee range. I didn't have a chance to test out Arx as a companion, since my parents forbid me from playing with skinheads, so I can't comment on his AI. Also, while the graphics are absolutely great, one of the features I appreciated the most was how well the day-night cycles were done, and the lighting differences between them. During evenings in the game, it might
Can't see
even be
shit.
so damn dark, you can't see fucking anything, sort of signaling you to go to bed or camp until visibility improves. But close to the evening is when old lights switch on for different ruined apartment blocks and buildings. Bioluminescent plants provide ambient glow to orient yourself, and the whole game actually takes on a completely different color palette, especially around the different faction encampments. That's really nice. I think the game can be described as a very solid open-world RPG, if you give it the chance, with some questionable design choices that, if you work around, leaves you with a very enjoyable experience that encourages replayability. With all that said, there's technical issues, bugs, and glitches out the ass for this release. My advice, go wait a few months. Let the people who bought it full price playtest it for you.
Your
and
copy
suffer.
paste is
Then
garbage,
come back
chat.
and buy it for a
You have to
fraction
do
of the price when the
/me
product improves.
with the appropriate
ELEX follows the
color
common philosophy in this business.
get the name in that
gaming
color.
industry, the customer is always wrong and deserves to be beaten and robbed in a seedy alleyway. So I give this game a thinking emoji out of 10.
Life is a prison, and we all serve our time.
My experience with ELEX can be compared to my recent experience with ordering doner kebab. I was tired and hungry. I had a long shift at the labs. I needed nourishment. The sexually repressed and frustrated woman at the counter took advantage of my weakness, handing me the greasiest and sloppiest doner ever conceived.
Doner.
I ate it, devoured it with gusto.
Why does it say
Filled with
donor if
temporary,
he's from
short-term
fucking
bliss.
Denmark?
Little did I know, I was also filled with food poisoning, and the catalyst for the mega shits
I
my
swear
ass
he's
would
fucking
experience
American.
for the next 3 days. While in pain I thought, who could be responsible for this? Who could condone such atrocities? I knew it. I knew it. Angela Merkel, you did this. You made me shit my guts out for 3 days straight. You fucking whore.
I love the nation of Germany. Basinger. Bing bing one up woohoo. Stay tuned for more wacky adventures from SsethTzeentach. Thank you to all my generous patrons.
Alright. Alright. Doesn't look like a game I want to play. Doesn't look like it at all.